Hello and welcome to Lola Time. My name is Ovi Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Obed, pleasure to be with you, my friend.
Good to be here, sir. How's it going?
How we're doing great. We had a very professional sound check, so I feel very prepped for this episode, sir.
So let's say, right? I mean that I deleted that sound check
Oh,
just because if that sound check would have gotten out there, right? It would have been. It's like I knew it. I knew these guys were sellouts.
it might it might have made its rounds, my friend. Those
It was not like my terrible Luigi impersonation that got leaked that one time. That I think you were the only one who,
I,
who
that
got
was
to
a
see it.
that
That's,
was amazing,
that's
and I
hilarious.
actually was fast enough to go ahead and actually screen record it because I wanted to
You
keep
you
that.
clipped
I
it.
clipped that because it was just so good. I'll keep that for the archives, my
It's for
friend.
the
That was
archives. Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
That's for the
exactly,
archives.
exactly. That's the
Um,
Nolan time blooper archive.
Fantastic. Tony, thank you for the comments there about telling us you're looking forward to our Thor Love and Thunder reactions. And of course, Moon Knight. Those are all coming in hot very soon here. We got plenty to talk about this week.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because Joel, I don't know what you got, but I'll let you go first.
Ah, man, I probably have the least amount to talk about. I finally got to rip open over this nice break that we had. You and I both in our professional basis, so we're able to get some time away from the work life and be able to catch up. And I was able to take that time to play Lego Star Wars, right? And I was mentioning beforehand that was something I was looking forward to playing for a long, long time.
The
One of the
biggest
most delayed
and
games.
the biggest Lego release ever. They said it today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, man, it's so much fun. It is so much fun. Now you have to have the pro controller. Like there's no going around it
Uh,
with this game.
okay.
If you're trying to play it just right, like it's terrible. I don't know how else to say it. Just that you're playing a game that if you're unless you're playing it like on PS5 or on Xbox, right, you're fine. But I'm playing on Switch just because it's a nostalgia thing, right? I played the originals on GameCube, so it
Mm.
just felt right to stick with Nintendo. It's not really the most graphically advanced kind of game either, right? Like it's nice enough to run on there and not have any major issues. And I figured, oh, this will be a fun one to take on the go and dock it and run around whatever. But no, this is one of those ones that you do want to throw it up on the big screen and have your pro controller if you're running the Switch version.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a nice layout to it. It's very familiar if you played any of the other ones. It's just more modern, obviously, more polished, and it's still they took the same story. It is Star Wars, obviously, which is what they do in the original, but they're able to still kind of change the layouts. Like the lands are much better. The side quests are pretty much the same. You still gotta get your mini kits and these other things. So yeah, I plenty of hours to be logged on that one. I'll give more updates as I get more time in. But yeah, that's kind of the general update I have here. I don't think you want to hear me talk about Halo again because it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. I don't have any gaming updates either. Horizon's still good. That's basically what I did in my time off. Just Horizon, which I think I'm progressing pretty good in the story. Where I feel that there's a big mission coming. It's like, oh, when you're ready, come back and see me because we're gonna go do this thing, right? So I feel like this is the time for me to actually hunt down, a few of the side quests and try to upgrade my weapons and do this thing now before actually going in and going into this big mission. So I'm probably gonna do that. So I'm probably my next couple of few hours that I play Horizon is probably gonna be just the grind, right? Try to get to level up, upgrade the weapons and whatnot. But yeah, still a fantastic game. But Joel, I was able to watch the Batman.
The Batman,
So
Obed,
so
tell me.
so we're gonna go into spoilers because we haven't done spoilers yet.
Right.
Um, I really liked it, like a lot like it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So please dive into
like
this
a
because
lot like it, bro. Like
okay.
it's I think what this movie does really great is that it takes what made each individual Dark Knight trilogy movie has their own strong points, right? I think that this movie took all of those strong points that each of those movies had. Like, you had a great villain in the Dark Knight. You had the whole cop drama in Dark Knight Rises, and you had the beginnings of Batman and Batman Begins, and he took those things and just mashed them up so well, dude. I am very impressed, very very impressed, and it's one of the most. It's Nolan's a great director, right? But I think that Matt Reeves just visually, this movie's stunning. It's fantastic, and it's for it being so dark, and not dark. I mean, it's dark, right? But I mean dark as in mostly taking place at night, where everything's dark. It's still well lit, and everything looks really good. I am very impressed, bro. I have to wholeheartedly disagree with you with the Bruce Wayne thing because there's a more psychological element to it. Is that Bruce is obsessed with being the Batman and being vengeance, right? And at the end, when he's saving the people, that's when he touches back with that part of Bruce Wayne that he lost. And it's like, I gotta be a symbol of hope. I mean, I can't just be vengeance all the time. I gotta step up. I gotta be better, right? And
Yeah.
and I think that's where, as a character development movie for Batman, this one's the best one of all of them, like including Nolan trilogy, right? Because it just the way that they take Batman and they actually do a character, they develop his character, and it's just not just like, oh yeah, parents died, I'll become Batman, not to avenge my parents, but to get rid of crime or whatever. This is more like he's struggling with his own, you know, problems. It's not only saving Gotham, it's saving himself, Alfred, the company, which they mentioned as like, oh well, we're not making any money. I don't know. You keep spending money on all this stuff, and everything else just keeps crumbling down. So I loved it. It was fantastic. I think that it was the right choice to cut that Joker scene that got
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah.
It was absolutely the best choice. So I don't know if you have anything else to share. I love this movie, dude. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much time because I know we got a lot of stuff to get into, but
Yeah.
I will say it's not that I didn't understand why they made Bruce Wayne the way they did. Like they were consistent. That's what I understand, they were trying to
Yeah.
do something different. I just think one of my personal favorites things about it is that Batman's who he really is, and Bruce Wayne is obviously the counterparts. That's actually the costume, if you really want to say, right?
Yeah.
And it seems almost to me like he doesn't care much about the Wayne legacy because he doesn't really care what happens with the company. He's like, this is my legacy, like being like messing people up. But then when it comes
Messing
with the
people, that's my legacy.
yeah, it's like, hey, we beat people up. That's
Oh,
gonna be our
okay.
family legacy, right?
That's
And
good.
then when a guy shows up on the scene that's doing all this the same, instant justice type of stuff, right? Where he's jumping in, he's like, all right, I'm gonna take out all these really corrupt people by blackmailing them and then making you do a couple puzzles to expose it to make it a little interesting, right? It's like that's when he finally realizes, like, wait a second, I'm only being the vengeance, and the vengeance is what's driving these people to think that this is actually the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But I need to actually be a hero, not just vengeful. If
Exactly.
that's the thing that births Bruce Wayne's persona, to me, it's not the strongest arc for me from that side. I'm not saying it's bad. I hear where you're coming from. Like I think it's a very fair assessment. I don't think you're wrong. I'm just saying that's how I perceived it, and I didn't necessarily take it as deep where I just took it more as like, okay, this is the route they're going, and it makes sense and
Yeah.
it works.
Although, honestly, like 80% that he's in the movie, he's wearing the Batman costume. Like, there's like very
which I
little
love
Bruce
that.
Wayne.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
Love
that
that.
was excellent, bro. Because
Absolutely.
it's like Batman almost 24/7 on this thing. It's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I really liked it.
And then I think like I was trying to stay away from spoiling, is specifically when you get towards the end of the movie, right? Like you always end with some kind of usually a boss fight or some kind of ultimate showdown clash, that conflict. And you don't get that in this movie. It's done differently, and that's okay. I mean, it's good to do things
It's
differently.
done well though.
It's
Because
done
it's
well.
like the boss fight is not just the one dude. Now you have many dudes that are acting as the dude, and
Right.
that's a good twist. It was good.
Right,
Yeah, I
because that's
liked it.
like what he inspired. So from an
Exactly.
arc,
Yeah.
it definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the only time that you get a real Riddler conflict of showdown is the funeral scene.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's but which, not to be mean, but the riddles weren't really that hard. Like
Yeah.
he figures all of them out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's justice. What's the bribe? Like that's like you never really get the great detective. I mean, the joke is like you're supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and you know El Rado, El Rado's La Rado,
Yeah, but
right? Like the whole joke of it, right? Like you
yeah.
don't get that. Like even if the conflict's not going to be physical combat, I would have liked to have seen something that shows that innately his nature, like in Batman's nature, it's not that he's going to evolve and going to become more powerful as time goes on. I get that as the first movie, but I would have liked to have seen naturally in that inclination to be a detective, to be, he's never really on the hunt, he's more on the reactions, more on the defense when it comes to this movie. And I think that's something that I would have liked to have seen more of.
Yeah.
But again, everything they do is not like this. Like I've said before, this is not a bad movie. It's a really good movie.
Really
I'm on the record saying that before. I just think some people like it just because it's dark and brooding. But when you look at it at its core, aesthetically, it's beautiful. But I don't think I think it's trying to be very deep. Where to me, it's very straightforward, and it's done very well straightforward.
Yeah,
It's
because the
done very,
pacing,
very
the
well.
pacing is
The pacing
excellent.
is
Yeah.
there. I mean, it did feel a little long for me when I watched it in theaters. You know, I
Okay.
think maybe watching it at home.
I watched
I
it,
think I watch at home.
bro. I watched
more
it in
comfortable.
I watched it in 3 parts.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
sitting in the
that's why I
theater
split it.
was a little challenging.
Don't get
But
me wrong,
I mean,
it's
you
good,
get good
but yeah.
content. It's good
Yeah.
content. So I'm not. I feel bad. The people might think like I'm playing or I don't think it's good. I think it's a great movie. I just don't want to. I don't want to be inconsistent, right? In what I saw of it. But no, I really really glad you liked it and glad you got to see it. I'm very watching it again now. You know, it's a great thing HBO Max has it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It was. I am very impressed, and I do hope that they continue this universe for at least one more, right?
Yeah, they should.
Because, man, like I'm telling you, I was really impressed.
It deserves 3 movies at least.
Yeah. Man, if I have a negative, right, it's probably gonna be that it's too long. But even it being too long, right? Like it didn't feel like 3 hours. Like I have like even I have to split it in 3 parts, and it feels like those parts were shorter because there's just so much happening in every there's it's not long because there's 25 minutes of slow-mo like Snyder Cut, right? There's always something happening, and there's details, and
they just keep writing. That was my thing, is that they just kept writing. They had such good content, they just couldn't stop writing the story, which is really good. But when you're sitting there watching it in one sitting, you're like, oh, they just keep going. Oh, there's another scene. Oh, there's another scene. You know, it just keeps
with dialogue and content.
It feels like you know, like when you have a plate full of really good food and they just keep putting more food. You're like, that's really good food, but you just keep piling a lot on here. You know, maybe I would have liked to just stick to this. I don't need the appetizer right now.
Remind me, you ever watched that video with the guy with the cookout? Yeah. So it's like piling food and half a pound of cherry pie, and then
like it's really nice, you know, it all works together, but you're like, you know.
Yeah, it was great. It was excellent. Awesome. Really liked it. Moon Knight, bro. This freaking
Moon
show
Knight.
this stupid show. I love it. It's so good. How, bro? How? This is like, but and it's not only right because you watch Daredevil is excellent. It's top notch, excellent show. But this show, it's just fun, bro. And you watch it, it's like everyone looks like they're having a great time, and it just crazy the Mummy vibes with this last episode. It was great. 9 out of 10 according to IGN.com. So
finally,
yeah, pretty good.
They finally got one right.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, sorry, I'm a little too harsh. No, it's okay, IGN. I like you guys, but I'm just saying, like, what they've done with this series is they're giving you another flavor that's not. It's clearly Marvel. Like, it's not like you look at it, it's not the black sheep of Marvel. Like, I don't know they did this, right? Like, it fits in the family. But it's such a nice, new, refreshing story that they're giving us. I think a lot of people have a lot of questions, and that's what makes it worth being a show.
Yeah.
Like if you were watching it and you felt like you could just figure everything out, it wouldn't really be entertaining. But the fact that you have to watch it and they're diving into the lore that, the sweaties like us are like, oh my gosh, they're going to go here and they're going to go there. Where other people are like, what do you mean? Tell me, I want to be in on this. And people are going to come to our show and they're going to want to find out what we have to say because they are giving you such a deep but yet entertaining experience. Like, the whole DID stuff could easily be handled in a way that it could just be, let's just be weird and goofy. But it's actually causing you to ask questions of like, wait, so if this one knows this and that one knows that, how does it come together? Oh, wait, there's a third one. And it starts to now come in a way that you start to put together, oh, wait a second, there's more to this than just the simple multiple personalities or identities, rather.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah. That whole monologue from Arthur, and when he was talking to Layla in the bridge about her father and whatnot, excellent.
Yeah.
Again, mummy vibes when they go in the tomb and they find the mummy. That mummy reminded me of the clickers from The Last of Us.
I was saying the same thing because really? That little noise that it's making. It's like, oh, okay, Naughty Dog.
You're freaking me out. Stop it. Yeah, so it reminded me a lot of that of the clickers. So it was good. It was again, everything was so good. It was good to have an episode where he didn't have the suit, right? And it was more of a discovery sort of scenario in this one. That was really good. But yeah, again, man, I'm loving this show. I'm hoping there's more. And I'm hoping we see Moon Knight again sometime in the in the movies. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mentioned to you beforehand, doesn't seem like this show, even before when it was being announced, like it's gonna trend the way the other stuff does, and I get that. Right?
Softer, it's definitely gonna be softer than
soft.
The other
it's new, Yes, they have a very talented actor behind it, but it is kind of more of a niche. It feels like to its own extent.
Yeah.
But because they're delivering week after week such a good build up. It's not like you have a good episode, then an okay episode. Like, I feel like first episode right now would be probably the weakest episode. And that's not a bad episode. That's a really good episode. I feel like it just keeps on the ascension.
Yeah.
Now, with the way they ended this episode, obviously, to me, that's the one that kind of could cause people to have to go back now and be like, wait, what did I miss out on? Why is everyone making jokes? And by the way, guys, we're going to get into spoilers.
It's super trippy.
So we're going to get into it now. But like you mentioned, the whole Arthur thing, right? Like that entire sequence at the end where Arthur's talking to him, they're literally mimicking what the character was supposed to be in the comics. Because in the comics, he's not a cult guy. He's an actual like scientist,
like a doctor.
So he's actually playing like who he actually really is supposed to be. Like, I love those kinds of nods. Like, he's actually supposed to be a doctor in that way, right? And then when you start getting into the stuff of him being inside what looks like to be some type of um, disabled, hospital, disability hospital, rehabilitation, however you want to look at it, center. It can almost look like a nursing home mixed with whatever, however
Yeah.
you want to look at it. Um,
Like a psych
when you
ward
like a
almost.
psych,
Yeah.
yeah, like clearly when he dies, right? He's not actually dead. We know that for sure. But we also have to understand that the abilities that this man has, that Arthur has, it can truly cause you it can cause you to not realize what is reality and what isn't. And for someone that's dealing with DID already, um, it's like we're watching from his perspective. Is this real? Is it not real? Oh, it's very symbolic. Why does it look like this? Why is there two of them? But wait, there might be a third one. Why is it that his body is split this way, but he's also able to now see an Egyptian god, the hippopotamus god at the end. Um, I mean, we could just dive into it, man. I have to say that my theories here are clearly that he actually had to create these multiple personalities. He had to create specifically Steven, right? Because that was his way of trying to escape from the god that possesses him, right? So when you're looking at that beginning VHS scene where it's a beginning towards the end where he's watching that
The
VHS and
movie,
it's
yeah.
the great Stephen Grant is the name of the Indiana Jones type character, right? Like it's almost like you would imagine that's probably something, a memory of his that he used to create this other personality that would be able to actually break free of the control, right?
Yeah.
And that's you've been realizing he's not been having this great, this great relationship really with the gods. He's not been having a very good, a very good relationship. It's just more so he wants to get free of it. So he would create this personality to free himself, right? And not, but he wouldn't really notice it in the moment because obviously it's so mentally separated that it's a completely new thing. So that's why the god could not control him unless he was Mark Spector, right? Now, when it comes to Jake Lockley, when it gets to that character, which by the way, guys, spoilers, that's gonna be the third identity when you start seeing that coming
the other
out.
one that's knocking on the sarcophagus. That's
Right.
yeah.
That needs to get free. Like, okay, when we start getting to that stuff, more than likely, Obed, it's not going to be the way it was in the comics, right? Because Stephen Grant was supposed to be more of the smart Bruce Wayne type of character, and we see he's like the guy that works in the gift shop, right? So I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do the Lockley personality, but if Mark Spector is the one that's more of the intelligent under control one, and then Stephen Grant is the one that's more of the geography, the history, all this stuff, right? Then you have to imagine that Lockley is the one that is the opposite of both of those combined, where maybe he has no moral compass, he has no care, and probably is just cold shoulder kind of guy. Like where the other two have a conscious, they just do go about it differently because they're personality types.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they'll portray that. That's my assumption because I don't expect it to be to the comics the way we exactly know, except that we know for sure this other personality does exist.
Yeah. Cool. Man, it was excellent. Can't wait to see more. It's such a good show, man, and I'm really enjoying it. So, like so far, right? And again, and I've said it before, right? That like this was not on my radar. Like this was
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, I knew about it, right? And I was like, I'll watch it eventually. But then I watched that first episode and I was like, oh man, this is freaking awesome. So, good, really good show. So yeah, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. But if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry that we just spoiled it for you. But hey, you know what? You've had a few weeks. Anywho, Joe, got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Let's start with, I guess, the big hitter, no pun intended. Um, Thor, Love and Thunder. So what I said about the Batman and how well shot it was and everything, right? Out of all the MCU movies that we've gotten, I think that from a cinematography point, right? I think Black Panther is probably the best one. This one's looking to be a contender because it looks. This movie looks gorgeous, dude. The colors they chose, like the palette, the filters they're using, the changes to their costumes and everything. Man, it looks amazing. No crazy big stingers. I mean, there's like no crazy surprises, right? Other than the ones we knew. Mighty Thor looks good. I don't know if you saw Young, yeah. He tweeted, he was like, shout out to Natalie Portman's guns because, like, she's really muscly. Yeah,
Jacked.
she's jacked, man. It's like,
You see the set picture of her going around.
you see the Padme picture? It was
Pat
like
Chad or
Pat Chad,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chad May. It was Chad. Yeah,
Chad May. That's what it was.
Chad May. Yeah. Good stuff, man. It looks fantastic. Good to see the Guardians, and Thor losing weight because that was a big point of contention for you, Joel. I know that was a hot button topic for you, sir.
Yeah, man.
It's like Joel over here fat shaming and being an elitist, and fat people are terrible.
I mean, they didn't make him a great guy when he was, when,
Oh, it was more the personality, right? It wasn't about the belly. It was like, okay. All right, I got you.
Yeah.
I see you, Joe.
It's fine. No, it's fine. They did good. They rectified that real fast. Imagine a whole movie of Fat Thor. That would have been really something. But I'll tell you what, the trailer, like you said, visually stunning. The story probably gonna be very, very simple, very straightforward. It's more comedic than it is deep, right? Yeah. We know that the whole concept is going to be Gore is hunting down, the gods. He's a god killer. That's what he's known as in the comics. That's why you get that one shot right where he's in that frost environment and you see that massive beast laying down. And Thor's looking over. That's straight from the comics, right? Where the same thing where Gore, that is a very powerful god. And then the Asgardian mythology. And so for him to have been killed, that Gore just hunted it for sport because he can and killed him. So clearly he's not going to stop. You get the Zeus moment, right? The same kind of thing. You probably see Zeus get, killed right away by Gore as well, which I'm sure you saw who they casted for Zeus too. Like,
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. That's a weird choice.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
And Gore is Christian Bale, right?
Gore is Christian Bale. Yeah. Now, have you seen the pictures that have leaked of Gore for the toys?
For the toy, yeah. For the Funko. Yeah.
Very different, very different. People were joking that what's his name from the Black Order looked more like authentic to Gore than he does, if you know what I mean. Okay. Interesting design, just design choice. I'll observe that.
It's a Funko.
It's not shown in the trailer, so it's not like that's a trailer thing. Just a side note. I have to say, though, as visually good as Thor Love and Thunder the trailer looked, I think because I'm getting so spoiled with how good – this is actually more of a testament, not a negative. Because of how spoiled I'm getting with the Disney Plus stuff looking so cinematic at times that it's like, wow, I could see myself sitting in a movie theater watching this stuff. I actually feel like something like this could have been designed more for Disney Plus than being a movie. And that's not a knock. People will be like, oh, you're saying it's not going to be – it's like, no, like it's probably fine. Like, I just feel like they might have been the better choice if they would have moved that actually to Disney Plus. I know that would have seemed probably like a downgrade, right?
Oh, yeah.
For the thing.
Yeah, you're fans were probably going to go crazy. Yeah.
But of all the ones, I got to be real, man. I do kind of feel like that could have been – and obviously they used the budget well because, again, we see the beauty of it. We see, they really went for a feel there. But that's just from what I've seen on a trailer. I may step into the movie and watch the movie and go, okay, this is warranted to be a full-on movie theater experience. But from what I saw on the trailer, not gonna lie, I felt like this maybe should have been a Disney Plus title. You know?
Okay. It looks great.
Yeah.
It's one of those that, unless there's something crazy happening, right? I'm planning to go out of my way to go watch Doctor Strange,
Nice.
right? But this one it's probably gonna be like Ragnarok that I watched when it came out on Blu-ray.
You're gonna wait for Disney Plus as well?
Oh yeah, it's probably gonna come out. Yeah, it's probably gonna come out on Disney Plus. Yeah, exactly.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Like Black Widow, Disney Plus.
Yeah, might as well,
right?
man. Yeah,
It makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense.
Like you said, Doctor Strange, I feel like it does warrant a film. What they're doing there, that's a big screen experience. That's a very short, condensed story. You don't need episodes for what they're trying to tell you.
And it seems like that movie is going to be more more indicative of what the future of the MCU is going to be,
right?
Versus Thor, which is just basically wrapping up a story. So I'm looking forward to it.
Any chance of Loki being in this? He's messed with the multiverse himself.
Yeah.
And that Loki show was fantastic. So,
yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. It's like, oh no, I came back. It's like, well, you're dead. It's like, well, one of me
things happened.
One of me is, but yeah.
I saw that Loki's fate. I watched it on video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You watch it over and over.
Yep. No, it should be pretty good. So, yeah, we'll see. Joe, I don't wanna toot my own horn over here, right? But we've had a pretty decent track record at predicting stuff, and then it just happening out of nowhere
all the time.
So last week I was joking around with the Sega cinematic universe, and Streets of Rage. And then what happened this week? Boom. Streets of Rage announced movie is going to be the video game adaptation, and it's going to be scripted by Derek Kolstad that wrote the John Wick movies. So that's a pretty good start, right? I am not 100% in. There's only one way you will get me 100% in. And that is if Yuzo Koshiro does the soundtrack. I am 100% in. I'm 110% in. That would be the only way. I think this is excellent, right? And I've talked about Streets of Rage, and so we talked about how many studios are obsessed with ticking the boxes, right? Like Eternals. And not give you... Like, bro, Streets of Rage ticked all those boxes back in, 1991.
Yeah.
So that's how forward-thinking and how progressive Streets of Rage is, right?
Way ahead of its time.
So, I am very much looking forward to this project. I'm very, very excited, very, very interested. I don't have anyone in mind for the casting right now. I guess I'll have to wait and see, right? And this is this movie just started being written, and they're probably going to start reaching out for casting and whatnot at a later time. But yeah, like I said, you know what? It's the first video game that I probably remember, right? I mean, not that I probably remember, but it's one of those video games that even back in the day where you had the trope, right, with Double Dragon, you gotta rescue your girlfriend and then you gotta rescue the princess, and so this game flipped the chart on that, and the girl is part of the team, right? You rescue the city, right, technically, and everyone's represented. You have a woman that's part of the team. You have a black dude that's part of the team. You have the police officers and whatnot that are part of the team. It was very progressive, very cool. I know for sure that there's some enemies that are not gonna be portrayed as they were portrayed back then, because of the same, it's different times, right? But,
yeah.
But when it comes to at least on Streets of Rage 1, that was an issue further on with Streets of Rage 3 specifically. But or I should say Bare Knuckle 3, because on Streets of Rage 3 it got edited out. But I digress. SOR1, fantastic. Gotta start somewhere, but again, you gotta get used to do the music, bro. There's like, you gotta give him one of those Yamaha FM synthesizers that he used to make the soundtrack, and just have him go crazy. Very excited. I'm hoping to see more. Right, I'm hoping to see more of these. Like, this is the perfect like Sonic, right? Sonic was perfect, right? Already.
Yeah.
But this is like the perfect follow up to that. And we can see another game, maybe. 4 did really well. Like, 4 was like, it was one of my games of the generation for the PS4 because it was fantastic.
Yep.
So, yeah, very much looking forward to it. I don't know if you have anything else to add, but I am so hyped, man.
Oh man, not too much to add. It's Paramount that's going to be distributing it. Am I right again?
I believe so. Let's see.
Fact checking on the
It's
ship.
gonna be it's gonna be the same production company that worked on Sonic.
Which Paramount was the one that
Yeah,
put out
and
Sonic,
then Paramount,
so.
yeah, and then Paramount. So they probably do have something going on with Paramount.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So just interesting because I think what I've wanted to see and what we were discussing when Obed the Prophet spoke last week was about characters that are in the Sega world that can be put out by the same team that made Sonic. Like, we didn't want it to be that's just, oh, it's another Sega character, but then it's like some other studio comes. Like, we wanted to be held, in highest regard and respect, and treated with that kind of care the same way Sonic was. And that just seems like the right way to go about it. Obviously, people look at this, they hear Sega, people who don't understand the way these games are, and they might be like, cinematic universes, that means that Sonic's gonna be in Streets of Rage? No, we're not saying that.
Yeah.
The
Could be a Sonic poster
it,
or something.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like an Easter egg, yeah.
Absolutely. Like, and if they ever really, really, really wanted to go there, that would be the long road and really having to change some things around to get there. Not saying it's impossible, but I don't think that should be their target. Is like, let's make a connected universe. Sonic already has that, right? Like, he like, now that you have Tails and you have Knuckles involved, and other characters, I'm not spoiling for you, that's coming through the pipeline. That's pretty obvious. Like, having all those characters in there, like, that's the world that they're building, is the Sonic world. But then the larger umbrella of Sega being able to create multiple franchises, and Streets of Rage can do the same. Like you're saying, it could be a multi-parter, it can be a larger story. I hope that that's the trend that continues if they treat it the same way they did Sonic, which is that with that great TLC, and hopefully it's really good. But yeah, Streets of Rage, I'm a fan as well. I mean, I've talked to you about it before. I would love to get the collection they put out for Switch. I really wanted to get that and pick that up, but I'm excited to see.
For the Genesis, you mean the Genesis? Yeah. I picked it up for PS4 on a sale. It was like $7 one time.
Yeah,
super cheap.
See?
Yeah,
that's
that's what you gotta watch for. I think it was on sale on Switch recently. It may still be on sale for like $10, which is still a great deal on Switch. Yeah, and it's a ton of really good games. Yeah. And it does have Bare Knuckle 3, which is the superior version of Streets of Rage 3. Right. Like there's no going around it, right? Streets of Rage is not, compared to Bare Knuckle 3, is not good. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, better get Yuzo, do the soundtrack. I better see Blaze Fielding suplex a dude, and it's gonna be great. I better see a fat guy like blowing fire out of his mouth. It's ridiculous. Love it. And yeah, we get to see Mr. X. I'm in, man. I'm 100%. So yeah, we'll see. It's hold on. I'm looking here, and oh yeah, okay. I get Kolstad worked on Falcon Winter Soldier too. So yeah, there you go.
Wow.
So there is some Marvel connection there. But yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to it. Speaking of Sega, it's been rumored for a few weeks now that Sega's been working on reviving a lot of their older franchises, and they're making a big push. Like they're, it almost seems like a comeback, Joel. But Sega never went away. I mean, Sega went away kinda, but they never did. But they're making a big push into bringing some of their classic franchises, and allegedly, right, based on reports, they are working on a big budget reboot of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. That, if I would pick two, I mean, because Sonic's always there, right? We've always had Sonic throughout the years. Streets of Rage was, not rebooted but continued. Virtual Fighter kind of made a comeback on PlayStation again, on with VF5 when it got re-released. So I think that Jet Set Radio is the right franchise to reboot. Those games were fun and were innovative for their time. They still look very good. Like, they hold up. It's crazy, right? Because I was playing Jet Set Radio on the Dreamcast not too long ago, and like, it holds up. It's like, it still looks pretty good. That shows the right art style for it, and it would be cool. Like, it would be good to see this, like, sort of like, not, I don't want to say cyberpunk, but like this almost sort of cyberpunk gang, tagging buildings and going against their other rival, like, gang. When I say gang, it's like graffiti gangs, right? They're not like shooting each other. Well, the cops are kind of shooting at them, but yeah. Where do you do it? Do you go to Japan and do it? Do you go neutral, do it like Seattle or something like that? TBD, but it's if they maintain the same aesthetic and the same sort of core gameplay elements that the game had, fix the controls, because that aged, of course, right? But if they can get it right, this is probably a good hit. Jet Set Radio on Crazy Taxi, on the other hand, right? This is more like an arcade game. That one's gonna be a little bit tougher. Like, why would you spend a big budget remaking of Crazy Taxi when you can invest it on something else like Golden Axe, or some other classic Sega franchise? I don't want to say Space Harrier. Space Harrier it's not that's a niche game because it's difficult. I mean, difficult games are en vogue now, but yeah, I mean, back then that's all we had is difficult games. All games were hard. But Crazy Taxi, that's interesting to me, man. That could do really well if they nail the aesthetic, and then and if they get the right soundtrack. Because I think that one of the reasons that Crazy Taxi did so well was because of the soundtrack. It was The Offspring and Snoop Dogg and like all this stuff that it had. That's where I think Crazy Taxi shined, and that's the part that they need to get right. I would have picked a different Sega franchise for for a reboot, but hopefully they don't spend a ton of money on it. But it'll sell well, I think, well enough at least. But yeah, Joe, comeback. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say based on not actually playing the originals, right? So I don't want to comment on something I have not played. But no, I love how we went from Obed, like, talking about Sega, as just kind of like what was with them. And I love the moves that they're making right now, where bringing some fresh life into their original content. Now, this is a good announcement. Nothing much more to say, aside from that. But I love that we're talking about them again in this way. This is good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that there's talks on bringing other classic franchises. I guess we'll wait and see on that. Speaking of classic franchises and staying with Sega, Sonic Origins was announced, coming
I
out
know.
fairly soon. I think June 23rd. Let me fact check that on the fly. Sonic Origins,
June 23rd,
June 23rd.
2022.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I have only one gripe with this game, and okay, so there was some I guess drama out there because Sega put a spreadsheet of like what's included on which version and what's DLC, right? It's like, and they got roasted, and I could see why, right? Because the spreadsheet was just not good. But essentially, there's two versions of the game. There's a regular version, a deluxe version. There's a free DLC that's coming out later, and then there's a DLC that's part of like pre-order bonuses, which usually those end up being free a few months down the road.
Sure.
So I don't care. There's two versions of the game. One's 40, one's 45. That's all you need to know. Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. And that is it, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, Sonic CD. So those are the ones that are included. Yeah, it's Sonic. It's a classic Sonic. It's been remastered, so you can play in widescreen, so you can see the levels in widescreen. And that looks really cool. They finally free the music for Sonic 3? Is it gonna be the same music? Did Michael Jackson's estate approved? And it just fun fact, if you didn't know, Michael Jackson, I mean, I cannot either confirm nor deny that he may or may not had made this soundtrack to Sonic 3 and then used a pseudonym on the credits. So this just was the legalese way of doing it, I guess. And so yeah, good stuff. Sonic City is really good. Kind of like a weird game in itself. It's really good, but it had this time travel mechanic that ended up being very confusing. Like you didn't know where to go. If should I be in the future, should I be in the past, should I be in the present, should I get this thing, get that. Though the bonus levels were incredibly hard, like to this day, dude, I can't. Those bonus levels, I can probably get just one Chaos Emerald. The other ones are like, no, bro, I'm good. And you need them to get like the true ending in the game. It's a tough game too. So, Sonic City, very interesting. But yeah, to me the big one is 3. Because 3 is not on the Genesis collection that you mentioned, because that's not 1 and 2 are there in Sonic Spinball, but not 3. But yeah, Joel, are you interested in this? Is this the product for you, sir?
Yeah, this speaks to me. Like this is something that like I have memories of playing these, but I never actually owned these. And so this is a great opportunity for me to go back. But like you said, it's remastered. So like you don't feel like, you're you're playing the interesting thing. I love that they redid they did the animation as well. They updated, right, for the cutscenes between. Like I love all of that. So no, this is something I love to have my own like fresh experience now as an adult that would be really, really nice. I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know if you'll be picking it up. I
Yeah.
assume so.
Well, I would pick it up if I didn't have it. If I didn't have 1 and 2 on the Genesis collection.
Right.
I have Sonic CD on the PS3, and I have the Sonic Sega Genesis collection for PS3. I have a disc of that, and that has Sonic 3 and Knuckles in it. Yeah. So, although the emulation's busted, like the sound's not. I had it for the Genesis back in the day, and the sound is not. It doesn't sound the same. So the emulation's it's busted. I would grab it. I would grab this on sale. Like this is a grab. I'll grab it on sale for me. If I see it at a decent price, I'll grab it. I don't know if you ever played Sonic Mania.
No, I did not play
Sonic
that.
Mania is really good, dude. It's worth it. Like if you find it on sale or something, it's usually pretty cheap. Yeah, Sonic Mania is really good. But this is good. Like Sonic 3 is excellent. Like Sonic 1, right? It's hard. It's the beginning. It's really hard, and It's not the best of the bunch, but 2 is phenomenal. And 3 and Knuckles are fantastic too. Hard games, right? Because you get like limited continues and all this stuff, but at the same time, they're a great experience. Same with Sonic City. It's a worthy experience. You can go through it. It's not super challenging, but at the same time, to get the true ending, you have to go through this whole convoluted thing. One thing that this one has that's cool, you can play as Knuckles or Tails on any game, so you can switch your character on any other game. So that's cool. There's it's funny because the Metal Sonic and Amy are on the cover for the game, and someone pointed out that they would fit like right on the character select. There's like 2 spots that you could. So they're saying that those could be like unlockables. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. $40 when it comes out, $45 if you buy the premium or deluxe edition. So yeah, June 23rd. Keep an eye out for that. More Star Wars games. We're getting a bunch of those. This one's a pretty good announcement because Skydance New Media announced that they are working on a Star Wars game that Amy Hennig from Uncharted fame is going to be writing. Of course, we know that she was writing a game for EA that got canceled, and then the studio Visceral got closed down by EA, and the game was canceled. So I guess that she's taking some of those ideas with her and doing or rewriting. I don't know, but she's back into Star Wars, and I was looking to see what Skydance New Media did in the past, and I couldn't really find anything of note, Joel. That's a little worrying, but at the same time, it could be a fresh opportunity for the studio. But yeah, man, Amy Hennig's back.
Yeah, it's back. I love that, but I'm more Star Wars content, yes, but like Obed, I don't really have any predictions or like assumptions I can really make on what they're gonna really do here, because there's nothing really being teased, right?
No, nothing being teased. They worked on a Walking Dead game. Came out in 2019. And that looks to be about it.
So maybe more
called Archangel. Looks like a mech game. So they seem to be a smaller studio. But I'm looking at the studio right now, right? And yeah, they got some good people here on the as leadership. So Amy Hennig is the president of the new media division for the company. This is John Lasseter's company. John Lasseter's the head of animation. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so they'll be right.
Okay,
yeah,
see,
right.
they got some good people here. So they I think this is a good studio to handle a Star Wars game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes more of a connection now. Makes more sense. Yeah. I just want us to know, like, why won't they tell us, hey, we're making a game. Oh, what's the style? Like when we heard about, there's other stuff. It was like, oh, we're getting this open world game. Oh, we're getting this single player campaign. We're getting, like, what kind of style are they going for? Nothing is, so I don't know what to make of it. But Obed, the last 2 games that we've played from the Star Wars I didn't play Rogue Squadrons. Did you play that one?
Squadrons? Yeah,
Squadrons?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Felt like a budget title.
Okay, see?
Yeah. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't long either. Like, it didn't overstay its welcome, right?
Yeah.
I played it. It was pretty short. I was like, that was okay for free. Because it was free on PSN, so on PS Plus, so...
Yeah.
That game is super, it's on sale. It's like $15, $20 around. But if you got it on PlayStation Plus, of course you can just play it anytime. Yeah, that game really felt budgety. Like,
yeah.
It was there was something off. The gameplay was good, right? But when you
Yeah.
start talking to the characters, I was like,
Mm.
yeah, we gotta figure out what's going on with my animation. My animation loop is acting weird,
Oh
and
my
clearly
gosh.
I am not mocap, so I am very hard to animate. Yeah.
Oh my
So that was the voice acting was fine, but
god.
yeah, yeah, it's rough in some
Yeah.
places. Yeah, yeah,
That's tough. That's tough. And
stuff.
this supposed to be a VR one too. Probably look even more strange. Um, yeah, yeah, that's weird. I'm just saying, like, what they've done from a Star Wars game division side, like the last couple have been okay. The EA ones were actually okay. So, what else comes forward now is probably gonna be very different. We'll
Yep.
find out.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Joel, we're gonna end in a bummer here,
Ah,
double bummer, because the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has been delayed till June 2nd, 2023. This was supposed to come out November this year,
October.
October. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, they can yeah, take their time. It's like I'm good. I know this animation style takes time. We gotta see the best high fidelity quality experience that we can with this movie. Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer, but it's it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, so Sony took an award that almost always by default lands to Disney. That's Best Animated Picture at the Oscars. Disney just traditionally always takes that one home. And the fact that a Sony movie did it, but not just that, a superhero comic book movie did it, was something very special and very historic. Um, and so they can't just go out and throw out the next one. Like this is going to be something that is going to be talked about for a very long time. I have spoken about the importance of Spider-Man in my personal life. I really, really am fond of the character. Miles Morales being a new incarnation of that same vein of a character is something that I just appreciate. They still get it right. You still get to the heart of what makes Spider-Man so special in those stories, and that's what keeps it entertaining. Now with this one, it's way more advanced, not just because okay, maybe they have a budget, or maybe because they have more characters, but because they're now going into multiple worlds, right? Like the Spider Verse stuff was very confined to everyone coming to one place,
Yeah,
where in this situation, he's now going to their worlds. And when you do that, they've mentioned before about changing those art styles for every place he goes to reflect that he's actually in their worlds. This is not going to be like you just watch a Cartoon Network's feature, which even those are done pretty well.
yeah,
We're gonna have to understand that the technology behind this is probably gonna be some very advanced new stuff and makes sense for the delay. Now it's funny, Obed, when I read it at first, I read it on Twitter. I didn't read like an actual like when they put out the information regularly, and so I read it as just that the third part, or originally they were calling Across the Spider Verse Part Two, which they changed it now to just Untitled, so that just the third movie. I read it that was coming on 2024, and I was like, that's weird. Why would they wait a whole year between this year and then 2023 for the 2024? But
yeah.
then I understood. I was like, oh no, they moved this movie to 2023, June 2nd, 2023, and then the third one being March 29th, 2024. So that's okay. Like, as long as you keep them back to back close enough, that'll be just fine. It's still been a few years since Into the Spider Verse, so it's going to be a nice return, and I hope it all pays off well. I think they're creating them all back to back, same timing, kind
Yeah.
of thing, so it makes sense. And at the same time, I bet if you saw Madame Web allegedly, I think also got moved as well. Let me fact check this too, but I heard that was also a part of the
Part of
whole.
that move that they
Yeah,
did with that. Okay.
yeah. Let me get the date on this. Um, Yeah, 2023. Got a date in 2023. What date are we looking at? We are looking at July 2023. So that's officially now looked to be moved to July of 2023. No exact date, but we just know summer 2023. So they clearly are moving fast on this movie.
Okay. Yeah.
That
Wow.
that's not they're not slowing
So
down.
that
They probably have the script together, which at the time it sounded like they didn't even have that, but they must have that. They're moving this quick.
They're probably just gonna fast track it. Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like it, bro.
Yep.
Interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll see.
You might get a Madame Web movie faster than you get the Flashpoint.
All right. I mean,
What a world.
well, yeah. Uh, Esther Miller arrested again. Um, I guess he attacked a woman with a chair, right?
Surprise.
All right.
Gasp.
All right. So here's my take, right? Because we're not into the whole thing. We're not into the whole shtick. Um, I hope, right, that that someone intervenes and he gets the help he needs because there's clearly something wrong with him. Um, and I hope that it happens before he harms someone, like really, puts someone in danger, and he puts himself in danger. So, like first of all, I do hope that someone's paying attention, someone that knows him, someone close to him is paying attention, and please intervene and get him the help he needs because he's not well. Like he's not well, honestly. That's the the unfortunate reality of what's going on with him right now. And I know that what the first time the first time it happened, it was funny, right? The lady at Walmart, I was kind of looked staged even to some degree, right? But now it's
Didn't
like
look good. Didn't look good.
now it's like
Even
I
if
don't
it's
know,
staged, it
bro.
didn't look good.
Yeah,
Like you want to stay away from that kind of image.
no, totally. But now even with
This
even
is
now
worse.
with after the first incident that happened again, and now this, I just don't know what's going on, bro. And I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad. I mean, I don't know the guy, right? I don't know. I'm just a guy in a basement. So I'm a 400-pound hacker in a basement somewhere. No, no.
Stop
I'm
it.
just, you know what? I don't know him, right? I'm just saying, like, if he would be my friend, right?
Obed's in the bunker.
I'm in the. If I would be a friend of his, I would tell him it's like, bro, like seek help, right? It's like we're willing to
Yeah.
help you out, and this behavior is not normal, and you got to figure out what's happening.
I,
And I really do hope that that's the case, and someone jumps in and tries to help him out. Um, I I have nothing. I like his movies. I even like I like the Justice League, even with his corny jokes. I know you didn't,
oh
but it was
gosh.
even.
Cringe.
I honestly, if it weren't for him in the Justice League, oh yeah, yes, yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, Dostoevsky. I was like, oh my god.
I got a job. Sorry. Now you may not have a job. Okay. Now what I'm gonna say is, look, the like you said, at the end of the day, we hope for everyone's safety, well-being, including Ezra's, well-being. I just hope that Warner can just put a very official kind of movement where it's like, get help or get out.
They're being really wishy
There
washy
has
about
to
it.
be
Yeah.
there has to be a very clear, right? Like, I gotta be careful how I phrase this, but I need to say it needs to be said. It
Okay.
needs to be said. It's one of those things that it's not what people want to hear, or some people may want to hear. It might offend some other people because I'm not trying to put people in groups like this. But when you've got people like Ezra caught in 4K with receipts, still can possibly come back to work after they try and wait for the PR to chill out. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, we're not into this whole, like we're saying, like, one and done, get them out. That we're not. We want people to get help. We want restoration, but there has to be that. But then you got people that are in trials right now that there's exposing tapes, caught in 4K again, receipts.
Got receipts, yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about allegations. Talking like there's stuff. Okay, it's being put out there. Still allowed to come back to work. But when the one brother speaks up about something, he's the one that gets the boot.
Yeah.
When Ben Affleck just has his stuff going on in his personal life, gets the boot. Henry Cavill, I don't even know what he did.
It's just he's guilty of being too hot, Joe.
I don't know, right?
Damn.
Like, I don't know what he did, man. What a crime.
What a crime.
It's the boot.
Yep.
But these two people, okay, can have these things go on and show up to work. There's something that's a little hypocritical. I'm not saying it the way I want to say it. I think if you and I were having a private off-air conversation, I'd say it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you know where I'm coming from.
No, I agree.
I think that's the lesson in all of this is it's exposing what Warner has allowed, and it's another opportunity. Discovery's coming in now, right? New CEO, new stuff. It's another opportunity to get things right. We don't have to keep looking at the past and keep bringing the past into the present. But when these things keep happening, I mean, Obed, there's another movie. We're not going to talk about that movie, but there's another movie that another allegation was made. An actress got fired on the set for a Warner Brothers movie that's in production. That a really crazy argument broke out or whatever, and there's people making reports about what happened there. This happened just last week. Okay?
What's this? I haven't heard of this, dude.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about the movie afterwards because it's not a very family friendly movie.
Okay.
But another problem. Like this is a trend. It's a pattern. Okay, and who gets allowed to get the slap on the wrist? There's something more sinister, I suspect, being allowed. And I think it starts from the top down, which is why I'm very interested with who's stepping into that seat now. Right?
Oh, I see.
Who's gonna really come in? But yeah, I just want to be very careful on how I say it because people. I'm not trying to defame people. They were just talking matter of fact what actually has happened, what is there, not just how I feel about it, but what really happens and what should happen in my humble opinions. But Obed, I've been on the record, just addressing just Ezra's acting that I didn't really love, but then I was okay when Snyder came in because I felt like it provided more of the proper type of comedic, not just the goofy, but like it actually like made sense.
Yeah, had context.
More, right? Had context to it. He's just not just the weird one like that, right? The Flash is not the weird like that, but when you do what you do, where someone now has a real life thing that's crossing over, and we've made our jokes about what's going on at DC and Warner, like this is the kind of stuff that they don't need this kind of press right now. Again and again, and they're being slammed in the news for another actress and some stuff coming out there. I mean, it's not a good situation, man. I just think people need to put all of this together and say you can't control people. People are going to do what they want to do. There's other studios that have people, unfortunately, that have done some really, really crazy stuff, but consequences, consistency. That's what we want to see happen. Yeah. That's when we talk about these conversations. I don't know what else to say, man. Yeah. I don't think he should be back anytime soon. I didn't hate his character, but I didn't love him enough to be like, oh gosh, if he goes, what a shame. But when Henry Cavill goes, that's when I was saying like I've got a problem. Okay. Yeah. Like when you say, "Go here, we're gonna cut this one." Hey, they're not recasting Cyborg to our knowledge, at least, right? So that's okay. So the character can easily just walk right back into the scene, but like it's just very weird when you're making those choices. The one guy that, let's be real, if you replace you bring the Flash, you bring another person in the Flash. Ain't nobody. People are gonna be more mad when you recast Batman, right? Like when you cast Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson as Batman, that broke the internet. But if they would have announced, from the first time around, hey, we're recasting Flash, that would have not broken the internet. Oh, but
Bro,
super fan internet would have, but not regular.
you know what I just realized that
Yeah.
when I was watching the Batman, right? So I was watching it. The movie came out a month ago at the movie theaters. Just came out on it.
Right.
I remember when we were having lunch and we saw the first pictures of Pattinson, like
Yep.
like pre-pandemic, and I was like, bro, that was like 2.5 years ago or something.
It's a long time.
That's a long time ago, bro. It's like
I haven't heard that name in a long
it's
time.
like time froze for like 2 years, bro. Now we're getting back finally. Dang.
Joel
Crazy.
Young's still young.
Yeah, we're still here. We didn't give
Still
up.
here.
We didn't give up on you guys.
Nope.
But I'm not, I'm not giving up on anyone that has trouble, right? And it's up to him to seek the help he needs, right? But sometimes someone needs to intervene, whether it be Warner, whether it be Discovery, whether it be whoever, right? I just hope that something gets done before something worse happens, and that's my only thing right now. Right, that's the way I feel right about it.
Because you heard about the on-set stuff that was coming out in the Rolling Stones thing as well. Like when you read it further, that like apparently Ezra was a problem on set
On the Flash,
Flash.
right? On Flash,
Yep.
yeah.
So like if you allow someone to come back to work, you think people are gonna feel safe around this person if they don't get any kind of help? Like it has to be very clear, like real accepting and really walking in change. Again, we want for that restoration to happen, but there has to actually be steps. It can't just be like, oh, I'm sorry, and come right back in, because there's a problem, like you're saying. You don't just go throwing chairs at women's head and feel like you're okay and entitled to do it. That's a problem.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. Again, I'm hoping for the best, hoping for his recovery. I'm not here to, point finger and say, oh, he's this and he's that. He's clearly has problems, and I hope that he's able to deal with them. That's my stance on it right now. So I guess we'll follow up if there's follow up, we'll follow up.
I'm sure
on
there's
it.
Gonna be an update. I'm sure.
Yeah, whenever we get an update, we'll surely have to come around and talk about it again. But Joel, in the meantime, where can everyone find us?
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for sticking with us on this episode of No Load Time. We encourage you to stay connected, stay subscribed. So make sure you're subscribed to our podcast on audio platforms. We are on Apple Music. We are on Amazon Music. We're on Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud. You can follow us on your favorite platform of choice. Go ahead, subscribe. Also, you can subscribe to the video version on our YouTube channel. Make sure to drop a like, a comment, share the episodes with your friends and family. We also invite you to write a review for No Load Time on the podcast platforms that you listen to. That really help us out as we try to spread the word about our show and get more fans involved and connect with you, our fans. We really appreciate our growing community, and thank you all for our new followers and new listeners. We also want you to follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you look right now in the video version and you're watching, right below me, I've got those social handles showing. We also are on Twitch, No Load Time altogether on Twitch. We broadcast these episodes that are being recorded. What's up to our Twitch community? Thanks for following and watching us live. Make sure again to share these episodes with your friends and family. Last but not least, if you have a question, comment, we'd love to hear from you. Send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. You maybe, just maybe, will even be able to discuss your question here on the show.
Thank you guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you again next time.
See you guys.